Good morning, Philippines! Good morning, world! Good morning, Philippines! Good morning, world! Good morning, real estate! My co-host graduated BS in Business Administration, major in Management in Ramon Magsaysay Technological University. He first joined real estate in 2011 in Pragmatic Development and Construction Corporation and was its marketing manager. Today, he is the owner and founder of EMG Property Brokerage. He is a licensed broker, the president of Junior Chamber International, Olongapo chapter, and the current Enrea Zambales chapter secretary. Welcome, Mr. Paul John Macadaan. PJ?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, and my co-host for today. He graduated with a BS Industrial Engineering degree at UP Diliman. He joined the Phil Estate Group of Companies in 1995 as an organization development specialist and a TQM trainer, where his eyes opened to the various opportunities of the real estate industry. 25 years after that, he is still actively involved as a PRC licensed real estate broker, appraiser, consultant, and accredited real estate lecturer, and BS REM instructor. He was the Secretary General, Treasurer, Vice Chairman of Education, Corporate Treasurer, Secretary General. For today, here is our current NREA VP for Internal Affairs, Mr. Jovi Tupas. Okay, welcome to our NREA online business forum with the topic Prospects and Settlement of Conflicts in Housing.
Thank you very much.
Jovi.
Thank you very much, PJ. So before we start, let us call on our NREA Iloilo chapter president, Ms. Annie B. Lencioco, to lead us in prayer.
Let us all put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. Almighty God, all praises to you before we start our activity today. Be with us, fill our hearts with joy, fill our minds with learnings. Thank you for the opportunity to meet together online. Help us come together to make INREA an institution that reflects your kingdom. Give us strength to continue working in this time of pandemic. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us all that what we do, what we accomplish, is for the greater pursuit of truth and glory of you. Amen. Good morning, everyone.
So please put your right hand on your chest for our kabansang awit.
We'd like to thank our dear sponsors for today's business meeting: E. Ganzon Incorporated, Bria Homes, Vista Residences, Golden Haven Memorial Parks, Duraville Realty and Development Corporation, Forest Lake, SMDC, The Houselands, and Fiesta Communities.
So I'd like to introduce the National Real Estate Board and advisors. First, the current board chairman, Mr. Benigno T. Cabrieto Jr. The board vice chairman, Mr. Ricky M. Celis. The current national president of NREA National Real Estate Association Philippines, Ms. Imelda C. Magtoto. Our executive vice president, Red J. Rosales. Our vice president for internal affairs, Mr. Jovi Francis W. Tupas. Our vice president for external affairs, Mr. Eduardo N. Sanchez Jr. Our Vice President for Chapters, Ms. Zenaida S. Fruto. Our Secretary General, Mr. Ronnie B. Bianco. Our current Treasurer, Ms. Nicole Ann Marie L. Choa. Our Auditor, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza. Our National PRO, Mr. Jeffrey S. Bongat. Our Education Chairman Trustee, Mr. Rodolfo Leonen. Our Trustee, Aniceto V. Bisnar Jr. Another Trustee, Ms. Maria Isolde Flores Prado, and Ms. Maria Victoria O. Polisco. So, also, our Board of Advisors, our Chair Emerita, Chair Lady of Board of Advisors, the past President and past Chair Lady of National Real Estate Association, Ms. Marisa Delmar. One of our advisor and past President and past Chairman of NREA, Architect Grace S. Layu. Another advisor, past President and past Chairman of NREA, Architect Felino A. Palafox Jr. Another advisor, a past President and past Chairman of NREA, Architect Nestor S. Mangio. Also, an advisor and past President and past Chairman of NREA, Alejandro S. Manial. Advisor, NREA former member and PRB Res Board, Mr. Bansan C. Chowa. And also an advisor of NREA, Marcelino C. Mendoza.
Thank you very much, PJ, for that. And now, let me introduce to you our NREA chapter presidents. Metro CBD Chapter President, Ms. Emmy Polido. Bulacan Chapter President, Mr. Dennis B. Sumo. Pampanga Chapter of NREA, Ms. Violeta T. Evaristo. NREA Pangasinan Chapter, Mr. Romel Agasita. NREA Baguio Car Chapter, Ms. Alma Grace Sara. NREA Bataan Chapter, Ms. Juliet Refuerzo. NREA Zambales Chapter, Mr. Dave Lubong. NREA Cavite Chapter, Ms. Sandy Coral. NREA Tagaytay Batangas Chapter, Ms. Rosa Maria P. Rias. NREA Mindoro Chapter, Attorney Erica Catarbas. NREA Ormoc Leyte Chapter, Mr. Evelio Varona. NREA Cebu Chapter, Mr. Abundio C. Gultiano Jr. NREA Iloilo Chapter, Ms. Annie B. Lencioco. NREA Cagayan de Oro Chapter, Ms. Violazita Sun. NREA Davao Chapter, Ms. Livia Pepino. NREA Zamboanga Chapter, Mr. Jeffy Baluran. And our NREA South Cotabato Jensen Chapter, Ms. Ana May Escalante. We would also like to thank our NREA Secretariat headed by Ms. Aurora M. Pusong, Mr. Virgilio V. Maclang, Ms. Lalin L. Santawana, Ms. Eileen P. Garlitos, Mr. Paul T. Santos, Ms. Maria Lourdes L. Angeles, and Mr. Bernardo M. Ejada.
Good morning, everyone. So for our opening remarks, May is a PRC licensed real estate broker and appraiser, consultant, and environmental planner. She is an international realtor of the National Association of Realtors in the United States of America. She is a broker and associate leadership council of Keller Williams Philippines, member of the Philippine Association of Realty Consultants and Specialists, Incorporated, and a member of Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners, a national and NCR chapter. She owns the IC Magtoto Realty. She is a graduate of BS Food Technology and Master of Management major in Business Management at the University of the Philippines. She is our national president. Let's all welcome Ms. Imelda Magtoto.
Thank you. Good morning. The Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HUDC, and the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, HLURB, were consolidated into the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or DSUD, in 2019 through RA 11201. DSUD is the national government entity responsible for the management of housing, human settlements, and urban development on planning and policy making, regulating program coordinator or creation, and performance monitoring entity. The Human Settlement Adjudication Commission was reconstituted from HLURB as purely quasi-judicial agency and mandated to adjudicate disputes relating to real estate development, homeowners association, and appeals from decisions of the local and regional planning and zoning bodies, and attached to the DSUD for policy planning and program coordination also. There are also prospects of housing in the 2024 Strategic Investment Priorities Plan, or the SIPP, as presented in the ASEAN Japan Center webinar called the SIPP Framework under the CREATE Law, where it contains the list of projects and economic activities with incentives. We are fortunate today for our NREA online business forum entitled Prospects and Settlement of Conflicts in Housing to have DSUD Undersecretary Maynard Sabili to give DSUD updates, particularly on anti-illegal real estate service practices. Interagencies Task Force recently initiated by DSUD and formed last July 2021. And Human Settlements Adjudication Commissioner Attorney Sergio Yoyoc Emmanuel Yap II on the rules of procedure on the commission as in NBank Resolution number 8 last March 2021. Also, we have Mr. Dino John Brecto, the OIC of the Research and Policy Division of the Board of Investments, or BOI. We have also distinguished moderators, the Legal Director of First Parks Homes and the First Vice President of the Subdivision and Housing Developers Association, or SHEDA, Attorney Joy Manaog, and the National President of the Philippine Association of Realty Consultants and Specialists, or Parks, Consultant Attorney Ray Cartojano. So welcome everyone, more power, stay safe from this contagious Delta variant. God bless and thank you everyone.
Okay, we would like to move on to our announcements and house rules. NREA is offering a new normal rate for new members. Also for all licensed real estate practitioners who would like to avail of the PRC self-directed learning for CPD units, type in your full name with picture in the comment, take picture together with the ongoing NREA Business Forum, and send it to NREA for certificate of attendance with a fee. The contact details and the email address are already shown in the screen in front of you. To all our Zoom participants, kindly mute your microphone. Only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. If you have questions, type your questions in the chat box, or if you are watching us on Facebook Live, you can type in your questions there. The moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken. To introduce our first speaker today, she is a real estate broker, a real estate appraiser, currently the director of the Organization of Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines Incorporated, or OSHDAP. And of course, the current national treasurer of the National Real Estate Association. Welcome and good morning, Miss Nicole Lim Choa.
Thanks, Sir Jovi. So, our special guest and speaker for today graduated at the top of his batch as summa cum laude in Masters of Law in no other than University of Santo Tomas. In 1995 to 2001, he served as Senior Provincial Board Member of Batangas, then continued his public service as the Mayor of Lipa, where he was recognized by not only the DILG but also the DSWD and the Office of the President as an outstanding mayor. Some of the programs he implemented during his term included the scholarship of 80,000 college graduates and the provision of their allowances as well as elementary and high school students. There were developments of free hospitals, microfinance, training center, village for senior citizens, and a drug rehab center, and home for not only street children, battered wives, the homeless, but also informal settlers. Without further delay, let me introduce one of the most outstanding mayors for social services, Undersecretary Maynardo A. Sabili.
Well, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Good morning, everybody, and to the officers and members all over the Philippines ng NREA. No? It's an honor to be invited at this forum. At natutuwa ako, nakita ko ang aking mentor, ang aking kaibigan, si Mr. Marcelino Mendoza. Nandito pala. Okay. Maraming salamat po sa NREA at nakita ko yung how comprehensive and how diversified ang inyong organization, yung inyong role. And I'm very happy to be here today. So maraming salamat po for very napaka kind introduction sa akin at I'm very happy to be here today. Binabati ko po lahat ang president. Hindi ko lang nakuha yung siguro busy schedule natin, no? Ngayon today na panay, although tayo ay laging Zoom virtual, ay busy hindi ko na rin nakuha yung mga babatiin. Pero anyway, gano'n na rin po. Binabati ko ang lahat ng members, lahat ng guests at ang lahat po na nandito ngayon uma-attend sa pagtitipong ito, itong napakagandang event ng yung ating pag-uusapan ngayong araw na ito. As introduced and clarified and defined by our President, Ms. Magtoto, earlier, yung role po ng Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development. Actually, we just celebrated our second year anniversary last February 14. At siyempre, as a new department, ngayon pa lang po kami nagpupuno ng mga lahat ng kailangan, yung mga empleyado. Alam nyo, nag-operate tayo in 16 regions of the Philippines. So we started last year na siguro nasa 6 to 40% na po tayo. Kaya siguro kung makikita ninyo how effective, how we are going to perform the function of the department hanggang region, ay hindi pa natin pwedeng asahan yung 100% compliance. Pero we are doing our best at sana hanggang December ay more or less maayos na natin yung ating deployment ng mga empleyado so that we can serve all the needs of our regions, Nakita ko napakarami palang branches, ang organization nito hanggang as far as Mindanao, Visaya, Luzon, nandiyan kayo lahat, And it's good that you have an organization like this. Actually, this we are talking, or the topic for today, of course, is the anti-illegal practices of real estate brokers and developers. And it's true that last July, our Secretary Eduardo del Rosario, issued an executive order creating the anti-illegal task force, or this we call the against scammers. The purpose of this is to create. We actually were the technical working group. I'm the chairman, and we drafted the memorandum, joint memorandum circulars, and it's actually it's an agreement. It's a joint agreement or cooperation between the Department of Justice, the Department of Local Government, the Professional Regulation Commission, the Department of Environment, the Land Registration Authority, the National Bureau of Investigation, and as well as the National Bureau of and the Philippine National Police. Of course, on the sideline, because we realized and due to our negotiation with the Real Estate Brokers Association of the Philippines and some other organization like NREA, we are contemplating, and we have already resolved this matter, that we will include the association as part of our group, a technical working group, and of course as a member, as an important member of this organization, or this anti-illegal practices. Actually, the status of this memorandum circular is now, we finalized the draft, and we already circulated the copies to all the departments concerned, and I hope before the end of the month, it will be signed by all the secretaries and involved, and then we're going to start. They start with, of course, we have already have the implementing rules and guidelines, and our proposal is that we will include the Real Estate Brokers Association, or the group like NREA, to be a part of this organization, because we realize how important your role will be, because as we all know, because it's the composition of this organization, or this anti-illegal scammers, or practices, is that we have the national level. When you speak of the national level, we're talking of the Department of Human Settlement as the lead agency. And of course, we have this DILG and the PRC, MREA, LRA, and many other agencies. The purpose of the role of its department, like the national and the regional. We have the national, regional, the provincial, and the local level. We have already defined that in our memorandum circular. Of course, the national on the national level, of course, we lay down the policies, programs, and everything, and then it is cascaded down to the regions. The regions has its own role. Usually, the regions is headed by the regional directors, and the co-chair is the, of course, the DILG regional offices, and members are the DNR, PRC. It has its own role. But the most important is this: the reason for the creation of this anti-illegal practices. It's that because we know for a fact that there's a lot of complaints. We can see that in the media, and every day, in most of the regions, like for example, the region 4A, I coordinated and have a constant conversation with Director Otero of the Region 4A, the DSUD Regional Director. And he laid down to me all the problems that are being confronted by the DSUD. And of course, most of the victims, no, we call it the vulnerable members of our society. Some of them are the OFWs, you know, almost their hard-earned income and really after they've already saved this amount, and then they'll be victimized by the illegal practices. So we focus on that aspect. Some of the practices that they're doing is that their advertisement in the newspaper. So of course, once it is most of the is more open than not, the people really believe in newspaper ads, and of course they have insidious machinations or their sorts of invitation. Then this thing, all of these things are really given towards the these are crafted so that our people, our the would-be victims, will be enticed to buy, no. So we cannot call it as a sales technique because we should comply, of course, and every advertisement, let's say, you should be truthful in all your advertisement. That's why as the real estate use practitioner, you know the rules and regulation, no. You know very well that of course the PRC are the one in charge of the registration of or licensing of these professional real estate brokers, their agents and practitioners. And that's why we are members, we know the rules. That's why we have this. And the purpose of this real estate, this task force or agency task force, in order to curb and to solve every problem. So the most important here is that you have a role, your organization as a real estate brokers association in the Philippines. You are on the front line. You're already dealing with people, and you know what is happening all around. So you can help us very much, no? You know the role of the National Police. Of course, we realize that, and of course, the mayors, the head of the local government units. We give, we are already we are included in this task force as the lead local agency, so that they can also help us in the in order to arrest, in order to investigate. The most important is that we should have an organization, and the success of our organization is, of course, the members should have a joint cooperation. That this should, as a lead agency, cannot do it alone. We need the cooperation of each and everyone. That's why we have already this organization. As a matter of fact, it's in reality, in the real practice, And I was a former chief executive for 9 years in the city of Lipa. And the mayor has the responsibility in the city or his territorial jurisdiction to see it, the peace and order and the welfare of the people. It's always guarded upon against these illegal practices. So matter, even if there's no such thing as the technical or this group, anti-illegal scammers, anti-illegal practices, everybody can prosecute, everybody can file a case, like for instance, the normal procedure of filing a case in the court, let's say in the fiscal's office, if it's in the barangay, they can file it immediately in the barangay, and they can file it in the police. The police can do the arrest. There's even though there is no warrant, there are cases wherein we can effect the arrest. That's what we realize the importance of an organized group. We call it an organized group, and the importance of this organization or relevance is that we can focus, and we have already an arrangement. It's an organized, it's a comprehensive, there will be a comprehensive, a holistic approach to this one. Now, that's why I'm telling you now that your group has an important role, and we can carve, and we can and it can just eliminate 100%. But the most important is we can tell to the people, to the whole world, or to the Philippines stakeholders that we are here. And of course, if you'll be violating the law, we are always here in order to prosecute you. No, it's a warning to these people that you must not commit any illegal acts against our would be victims, or to the people. We know all the rules, and they know that we exist, and it's of course it's we can just a warning to these people that this should, with all the stakeholders, with the cooperation of real estate association, I can believe that we will be successful in the filing of case, gathering of information, because once it is there, we already started this group, and of course it will start in due time. We will have a hotline. We have the headquarters for every localities, for every regions, in the national level. We have hotline, and we have people who will be consulted, or in case there will be a problem, in case they encounter. And we have already a procedure how to file cases. Because some of the regions right now, like for instance in Mindanao, our director lamented that one of the problem is that they don't have lawyers or legal assistant to assist in the filing of the case, in the drafting of affidavit. But this matter can be resolved, because this is only a small matters that can be addressed by our group. Now, let's say the filing of the case, we can always assist each and everyone. If there will be a victim, let's say there's a present, let's say what is at this point, na-interrupt, ginagamit ko yung iPhone ko. Like for instance, in a certain area, like let's say Tagaytay, no? There is going on, there's a certain scam wherein the people are aware, or some group aware that they're doing these things. They're selling properties, or selling without any permit. They are not licensed, they're not registered. As a whole, they're really a scammer, because they're committing illegal acts. No? So the most important is you can feed the information to our local level. Of course, they are defined, and you as the, you can provide information, you can help us gather. We call it in the NBI, by the police or the investigator, we call it case build-up. Once you have this initial evidence, we can file it automatically, directly to the fiscal's office, because the procedure is that filing. That's why the role of the Department of Justice, they're in charge of the prosecutor arm of the government. They're the fiscals, they're the one who file the, they're of course our lawyers will be the one to file that case with the complainant in the fiscal's office. After which the fiscal's office will conduct the investigation. We call it the preliminary investigation. And once there is a finding of probable cause, the case will be filed in court. But before the filing, of course, the warrant of arrest will be issued by the judge, and then the person will be arrested and tried. No? So the case will start, and of course, we need lawyers. And the most important is that in this procedure, we have this organization, task force. The prosecution or the DOJ is our regular co-chair, and they will play a very important role because in the prosecution of crime and during the investigation, of course, the police and everybody has the role because we have to present evidence to the prosecution, and we call it preliminary investigation. And once it's already concluded and the case is filed in court, still we need the prosecutors or the fiscal because, of course, every case or criminal case, we can relate a criminal case because the title of the case is People of the Philippines. And every criminal cases, because it's people, we need the fiscal, the prosecutor. So our complainant don't have to get the services of a counsel or legal counsel, who should be, you don't have to get them because you have already the prosecutor, the fiscal, and that will serve as lawyer. That's why this the case is you continue. I cannot say that I'm no longer interested because once the case is filed, we have to pay for the professional fees, for the appearance fees, and everything for every pleadings that that the services of a lawyer is needed. But the fiscal is there. So that's why the role of the fiscal is important here. And the police officers, the NBI, even though you can, there's there is a certain situation wherein you can effect an arrest, even without a warrant. What I have already discussed before is that the procedure, once you want to file it, there is a sort of preliminary investigation that the case should be filed in court and there should be a probable cause, so that it will prosper, or filing the case will prosper in court. But in this instance, I can discuss that we can do it. Let's say those are or cases we can effect, or a person or the group can effect an arrest even without a warrant, and that is possible because there are so many exceptions to the rule that you can effect an arrest. Let's say while the crime is being committed, nakita mo nagko-commit na yung crime, na dito nagpupulong at niloloko na. Nakita may kausap and then hinuli. Pwede natin yung entrap habang tumatanggap ng pera while the documents are being submitted. Because we know the fact that ito naman walang hindi authorized, walang license, and ito yung nanloloko. Diba? We cannot effect an arrest. We need the police officers in order to prevent any violence or untoward incident to happen. That is legal and that's valid. Diba? That's why we need the NBI, we need the police. No? And of course, we can effect an arrest. That's why our group plays a vital, this organization will do so much in order to curb these illegal practices. No? But I believe, I can tell you right now, straight from the eye, that your role is, you have an important role. We need you so that we can successfully accomplish our mission, no, in this in this project. So we need you, no. At alam ko, the most important here, of course, we'll have seminars or we'll have some sort of orientation, because you'll be a member, you will be apprised of your duties and obligation or role. So my advice to you is to keep in touch with our department. You can set a meeting with our secretary. And of course, if you cannot contact our secretary, you just approach Kuya Mars Mendoza. Mars is very close to our secretary. No? He is an advisor of the secretary also. And of course, he is my advisor. We can help each other. And of course, your group, you're most welcome to my office. I am the in charge of the regional operation of the DSUD. And you can always have good communication or contact me anytime. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay po kayo at sana ay lalong maging maunlad ang inyong organization. Ang lahat ng members, officers ay malusog at malayo sa karamdaman at sa sakuna at maiwasan natin at let's pray to our Lord na sana matapos na po itong pandemic na ito, matapos na po ang COVID na ito. Kayo lang po, Panginoon, ang makakatulong sa amin, sa ating lahat ng mga, sa atin, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, sa buong mundo, na sana ay mawala na po at maligtas na ang lahat ng mga mamamayan. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw sa inyo lahat.
Okay, so I'd like to acknowledge the following people from our guests for today. The past NREA Executive Vice President and former Bulacan Governor, Roberto Obet Pagdagan. Also, the SHDA Chairperson and
Thank you
President
very
of
much.
City Homes Builders and Development Incorporated, Ms. Rosie Chai. The REBOP National President, Mr. Benevici Castro. The NREA Metro CBD chapter officers led by Pres Emmy Pulido. The National Real Estate Baguio Car chapter officers led by Pres Alma Grace Sara. The NREA NREA Bataan Olongapo chapter officers led by Pres Juliet Refuerzo. The NREA Zambales chapter officers led by Pres David Lubong. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of NREA Cebu chapter officers led by Pres June Gultiano. The NREA Davao chapter officers led by President Livia Pepino. The National Real Estate Pampanga chapter officers led by Pres Violi Evarito. The NREA Mindoro chapter officers, participants from different chapters of United Architects of the Philippines. Also, architect Joel Kapalit from Education Lecturer Attorney Jaime Balnas. Okay, so let's proceed for the next speaker. To introduce our second speaker for today, he is the principal architect of RV Archiplus Design Studio, evaluator of CPD Council for Architecture of Professional Regulatory Commission, the chapter president of UAP QC Elliptical, the director for Committee on Continuing Professional Development, the administrative faculty of Enduran Colleges, and professional lecturer of National University. May I call in to introduce our speaker for today, Architect Ronnie Biando. Hello, Architect Ronnie. Okay, so since there is a technical difficulty on the side of Architect Ronnie Biando, let me introduce our speaker for today. He is presently the Commissioner of Human Settlements Adjudication Commission. He is presently the Supervising Commissioner of the Regional Adjudication Branches of Region 6, 7, 8, and 10, as well as the Chairman of the Human Resources Merit, Promotion, and Selection Board. He graduated with the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics in Ateneo de Manila and earned his Bachelor of Laws, Juris Doctor in Xavier University Law School. Before being appointed as HSAC Commissioner, he was a former councilor and vice mayor of the local government unit of Tagoloan, Misamis Oriental. He was also a litigation lawyer, handling cases involving real estate, immigration, taxes, labor and banking, as well as an external counsel in Mindanao for the two top banks of the country. In 2016, he was a legal consultant of the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office of the Office of the President in Malacanang. Later, on July 2017, he was appointed as an Assistant Secretary of the Department of Justice handling security matters. As an Assistant Secretary, he was also the Chairman of the Department of Justice Housing Committee and the Department of Justice Action Center, or DOJA. He was also an ex officio commissioner of the former Housing Land Use Regulatory Board, or HLURB. And outside of his work, he is a husband and a father to four, and in his free time, he enjoys sports of swimming, biking, and running. Hey, let's greet everyone and welcome Attorney Sergio Emano Yap II.
Good morning to everyone. Today I'll be discussing briefly the 2021 Rules of Procedure of the Human Settlement Adjudication Commission. So first of all, I would like to thank the NAREA National President, Imelda Magtoto, as well as the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Chairman Benigno T. Cabreto Jr. So I'll be presenting 52 slides. I hope this would fit my 20-minute time allocated for me. So as a background, The Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, or the HULRB, has been reconstituted as Human Settlement Adjudication Commission, or HSAC, by virtue of Republic Act number 11201. As mentioned earlier by Ma'am Magtoto, HSAC is a quasi-judicial body tasked to adjudicate disputes relating to real estate developments, homeowners association, and appeals from decisions of local and regional planning and zoning bodies. In the performance of its functions, the HSAC is guided by the constitutional provision that affords all persons the right to speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative bodies. HULRB's two other main functions, which were town planning assistance to LGUs and regulatory function over real estate developments and homeowners associations, are now exercised by the Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development, where the previous speaker, Yusek Sabili, is working. So the HSAC is attached to the SUD for policy planning and program coordination only. So I will discuss the next slide, which is the general flow of the adjudication process before our commission. So basically, it starts with the filing of verified complaint, and later on, the respondent will receive summons and a corresponding obligation to file an answer. So after the filing of the answer, there is the mandatory conference, wherein parties are given a chance to mediate amongst themselves, probably to arrive at an amicable settlement of the dispute. If there's no settlement, the parties will be required to file position papers as well as draft decisions. So after that, the adjudicator will have or issue their resolution or decision for the case. So the decision will be appealed later on to the commission in bank, or it can be to the division. Normally, it's appealed now to the division of the commission, and later on, under our new rules, which I will discuss later on, the parties, the aggrieved party may file a motion for reconsideration, and it will be resolved by the commission in bank. And all the decisions from the commission is appealable to the Court of Appeals via the Rule 43 of the Rules of Court. So I will now jump into this the fifth slide, the jurisdiction and coverage of our commission. So first, we have jurisdiction over cases involving subdivisions, condominiums, memorial parks, and similar real estate developments. This includes, number one, actions concerning unsound real estate business practices filed by buyers or homeowners against the project owner or developer, which cause prejudice to the buyers or which are committed with bad faith and in disregard of the buyer's right. Number two, claims for refund and other claims by a subdivision lot or condominium unit buyer against the project owner, developer, dealer, broker, or salesman, provided when the cause of action arises from the buyer's right under Section 23 of PD 957, and the purchase price of the property is paid through a housing loan from a bank or other financial institution, the latter shall be pleaded as a necessary party. So number three is cases involving specific performance of contractual and statutory obligation arising from the sale of lot or unit and the development of the subdivision or condominium project. Number four, disputes involving open spaces or common areas and their use filed by the project owner or developer or the duly registered homeowners association, including the eviction of illegal occupants therein. Number 5 is suits to declare subdivisions, condominium, or other real estate development within the regulatory jurisdiction of DSUD as abandoned, as defined under Section 3 of RA 11201 for purpose of Section 35 of PD 957. Number 6, disputes involving easements within or among subdivision projects. Number 7, actions to annul mortgages or other agreements executed in violation of Section 18 of PD 957 filed by the subdivision lot or condominium unit buyer against the project owner and or developer and the mortgagee. If you will, Section 18 of PD 957 involves mortgages, which says that no mortgage of any unit or lot shall be made by the owner or developer without prior written approval of the authority, now with the Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development, or DSUD. So we will now proceed with the next slide. Our commission also has jurisdiction of involving homeowners association. So this includes controversies involving registration and regulation of HOAs, intra-association disputes or controversies arising of relations between and among members of HOAs, inter-association disputes or controversies arising of the relations between and among two or more HOAs, disputes between the HOA and the state, and disputes between the HOA and the beneficial users of its services. So we'll proceed to the next slide. The commission also has jurisdiction over disputes involving the implementation of Section 18 of RA 7279, or the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992 as amended by RA 10884, which is the Balanced Housing Development Program amendments, and its implementing rules and regulations. Next is the disputes or controversies involving laws and regulations being implemented by DSUD, except those falling within the jurisdiction of other quasi or quasi-judicial body. And E, appeals from the decisions of local and regional planning and zoning bodies. And F is other analogous cases. So that is the broad coverage or jurisdiction of the commission. So what is the nature of the proceedings of the HSAC? It's a quasi-judicial, as mentioned earlier. The HSAC's legal process is similar to quasi-judicial bodies such as the NLRC. This means that it does not involve a trial-type hearings like that observed by regular courts. Initial pleadings such as complaint and answer can be done using the complaint or answer form or template provided by the HSAC, either by accomplishing it manually or downloading the digital copy thereof and encoding the entries therein. It does not require engagement of a private counsel or lawyer, although it would be wise to have one. Private counsel or lawyer may be needed after the mandatory conference when parties are required to file a position paper as well as the draft decision. So we will proceed with the proceedings before the adjudicator. As mentioned earlier, this is the commencement of the action, as well by filing of a verified complaint and and payment of the required legal fees. The service of summons to the respondent, together with a copy of the complaint and all its attachment. Next is the filing of the answer. Then the setting and the conduct of the mandatory conference, the submission of position paper and draft decision, writing of decision, and the issuance of the decision with notice to the parties. So The next slide shows the process flow within the regional arbitration branches of the HSAC, but I will not discuss that because this will be discussed in my succeeding slides. So I will jump to the slide 15 in regards to venue. A verified complaint is filed before the regional adjudication branch that has jurisdiction over the administrative region where the subject or condominium project is located. Exception, if the buyer resides in the same place where the principal office of the developer is located, the buyer may opt to file the case in the said region, even if the project is located in a different administrative region. So in terms of HOA cases, those cases are filed before the regional adjudication branch that corresponds to the DSUD regional office where the HOA is registered or re-registered. So this is important. The next is the prohibited pleadings and motions. Often parties file these pleadings and these are considered prohibited, and these pleadings or motions do not interrupt the running of the prescriptive period or shall not bar the adjudication of the case. This includes motion to dismiss, motion for bill of particulars, motion for relief from judgment, motion for reconsideration, except as provided under section 123 hereof of the rules, the appeal from interlocutory order or except writ of preliminary injunction, motion for extension of time. Most often, parties file motion for extension of time to file their pleading. This is prohibited. Motion for postponement, except for justifiable reasons. Motion to admit pleadings filed beyond the reglementary period. This is also prohibited. Fourth and subsequent party complaints. Motion for clarification of final orders and decisions. The manner of filing, normally pleadings are filed personally, registered mail, private courier, email or electronic mail, and other electronic means as may be authorized by the rules. But initiatory pleadings, take note that initiatory pleadings such as complaint, as well as initial responsive pleadings such as answer, shall be served only and filed personally or by registered mail. So the summary of that is that all complaints and answers should be filed either personally or registered mail. So for the issuance and service of summons, regional adjudicator to issue summons within 10 calendar days from the receipt of the case docket or within the same period to dismiss complaint motu proprio for lack of jurisdictions, fail to state a cause of action, or insufficiency in form and substance. Summons are served personally through the process server or sheriff or registered mail or private courier. Then the highlight of our rules, we added this: after at least 2 failed attempts of service of summons, the regional adjudicator may authorize the complainant to serve the summons to the respondents, provided the complainant executes an affidavit of service to be attached to the return of service of summons. Next slide is the filing of verified answer within a non-extendable period of 20 calendar days. The answer should be filed from the receipt of summons. All grounds for a motion to dismiss, counterclaim, or cost claim must be pleaded in the answer. Otherwise, they are deemed waived. And again, as there's an optional use of the answer form or template by the parties without counsel. Default, the regional adjudicator may motu proprio or upon motion to declare defendant in default if the party fails to file a responsive pleading within 20 calendar days from the receipt of summons, and direct the complainant to file within 10 calendar days his position paper, after which the case is deemed submitted for decision. There are also the right to file a motion to lift order of default, accompanied by affidavit of merit, which shall be filed within 5 calendar days from the receipt of the order or of default. Next is the mandatory conference. As mentioned earlier, this comes after the filing of the answer, and the mandatory conference, from the word, is mandatory. The notice for the conduct of the mandatory conference shall be issued within 5 calendar days from the receipt of the answer. 30 calendar days from the initial conference, unless the parties agree to an extension not exceeding 30 calendar days. No further extension is allowed. So what are included in the mandatory conference is the purpose of which is to consider the possibility of amicable settlement through mediation, as well as the agreement of the parties to be served with subsequent pleadings, motion, and other documents, judgment, orders, or resolutions through electronic means. The agreement of the parties to conduct subsequent conferences, including mediations proceeding to teleconferencing, the scheduling by the regional adjudicator of the mediation, the definition and simplification of issues, possibility of entering into admissions or stipulation of facts, the submission by the parties of additional documentary evidence and marking of proceedings, which I mentioned earlier, which is part of the mandatory conference. It is mandatory. It is conducted within the period for the conduct of mandatory conference. All informations obtained during the mediation proceeding shall be confidential and shall not be admissible for any purpose in any proceeding, unless otherwise specifically provided by law. The appearance of parties in mediation proceedings is mandatory, or by the representative with the proper special power of attorney or secretary certificate with full power to enter into a compromise agreement. Next is the filing of, if no settlement is arrived by the both parties, they will be directed to file position papers and draft resolution. So this is done within 15 calendar days from the receipt of order, and after which the case is deemed submitted for resolution or decision. The adjudicator may motu proprio or upon motion conduct an ocular inspection and or clarificatory hearing, which shall be conducted within the 90 calendar day period within which the adjudicator should resolve the case. So again, for the mandatory conference is 30 days plus another 30 days of extension, and after which the submission of the position paper and draft decisions. With the submission of that, the adjudicator has 90 days in which to resolve the case. Of the adjudicator. Consideration of the regional adjudicator's decision shall be allowed or acted upon, and the filing of the same shall not toll the reglementary period to file an appeal. So there is no motion for consideration before the regional adjudication branches. Next slide. The provisional and special remedies, the creation of management committee, the preliminary injunction, contempt, inspection of books and records, enforcement or execution of compromise executed by the parties in conciliation proceedings before the dissuade, other provisional and special remedies, the executory nature of the judgment under provisional and special remedies. So all judgment under Part 3 of the rules of the HSAC shall be immediately executory without prejudice to filing of appeal therefrom, except for the judgment of the commission in bank in direct contempt cases which are unappealable. If you remember during the HLRB time, there is the cease and desist order. Presently, under the HSAC, under our new rules, there is the preliminary injunction. So there's no longer a cease and desist order, but now there's a preliminary injunction. So a preliminary injunction is issued to enjoin or restrain after due notice and hearing any actual or threatened commission of any or all prohibited or unlawful acts. While a preliminary mandatory injunction is issued to require the performance of a particular act and any dispute within the regional arbitration adjudication branches, jurisdiction which, if not restrained or performed forthwith, as the case may be, may cause grave or irreparable damage to any party or render ineffectual any decision of such tribunal. So no preliminary injunctions shall be granted without hearing and prior notice to the parties sought to be enjoined. So next slide. The temporary restraining order, the elements thereof, if the matter is of extreme urgency, there is a showing that the applicant stands to suffer grave injustice or irreparable injury, it is filed before the matter can be heard on notice. So the period of this is only 72 hours from issuance, may be extended but not to exceed 20 calendar days. The party will be required to file a bond to be fixed by regional adjudicator, and the injunction or TRO shall be effective upon posting of the bond. So the conditions thereof, the provided notice of hearing is conducted. It should, as again, 72 hours. Whom the case is pending shall conduct a summary hearing to determine whether a TRO shall be extended until the application for preliminary injunction can be heard. As mentioned earlier, it should not exceed 20 calendar days, including the original 72 hours provided therein. So in the event the application of preliminary injunction is denied or not resolved within the said period, the TRO is deemed automatically vacated. So next slide is the motion for dissolution of injunction or TRO. So a motion for dissolution shall be filed join within 15. The adverse may file a comment within a non-extendable period of 5 days from the receipt of the motion. After receipt of the comment or lapse of the period to file the same, the regional adjudicator shall resolve the motion within 5 calendar days therefrom. If granted, move on to post a bond in an amount twice that posted in the issuance of injunction or temporary restraining order. So petition for review of writ of preliminary injunction. A resolution granting or denying a motion for dissolution of writ of preliminary injunction is appealable via a petition for review to the commission in bank within 15 calendar days from the receipt of a copy of the resolution. So this is the next slide is the sample. Often there's a mistake as to the this is the sample which I encourage the lawyers to follow. In the RAB level, this is the case caption, but on appeal of the petition for review of the injunction order, in case of a developer as the petitioner, it should be against the adjudicator as a public respondent and the complainant as the private respondent. So we'll now proceed to the next slide, contempt. As you all know, under the new law, HSAC has a contempt power. So we have the power to issue a direct contempt So as indicated here, a person who commits any act of misbehavior in the presence or so near any member of the commission or any of its regional adjudicators as to obstruct or interrupt the proceedings before the same, including disrespect towards said officers, offensive acts towards others, refusal to be sworn or answer as a witness or to subscribe an affidavit or deposition when lawfully required to do so, and other such analogous acts or misbehavior disruptive of the proceedings. This includes disrespect towards our sheriffs. So next slide. Can we proceed to the indirect contempt? Indirect contempt includes disobedience or resistance to lawful writ or order or judgment of the HSAC, any abuse or unlawful interference within the processes or proceedings of the HSAC not constituting direct contempt, any improper conduct tending or directly or indirectly to impede, obstruct, or degrade the administration of justice, representing himself or herself to be an attorney or officer of the HSAC and acting as such without authority, failure to obey a subpoena, duly served, and recovery or attempting to recover without any authority, a person or property being held in the custody of an officer by virtue of an order or process issued by the regional adjudicator or the commission. So review of the judgment or final order of indirect contempt may be appealed to the commission. So next slide is the enforcement of or execution of compromise agreement executed by the parties in conciliation proceedings before the DSUD. The petition for the enforcement or execution of a compromise agreement between parties as an outcome of conciliation proceedings conducted by the DSUD acting on letters of complaint or request for assistance in relation to its regulatory mandates over real estate development and homeowners association. The compromise agreement should not be contrary to law, morals, or public policy, and the respondent failed to comply with the terms and conditions of the compromise agreements. This, as mentioned earlier, there's still a conciliation proceedings before the DSUD right now, and any compromise agreement between the parties can be enforced or executed through filing of a petition with the with the HSAC. So now I will proceed with the proceedings before the commission. So I will not discuss the flow chart because I will be discussing it through the succeeding slides. So again, the commission is composed of 5 commissioners appointed by the president. Right now, there are only 3 commissioners headed by Executive Commissioner Melzar Galicia and Commissioner Fidel Esconde. So the commission sitting in bank shall resolve the following: petitions for review of writ of preliminary injunction, appeals from decisions of local and regional planning and zoning bodies, cases involving novel issues with policy implications upon endorsement of the division to which the cases were originally raffled, appeals from the judgment or orders in election contests, motion for reconsideration of judgment or orders rendered or issued by any of its division under section 123 of the rules of procedure. So next, in order to efficiently carry out its adjudicatory function, the commission may also sit in 3 divisions, each composed of a combination of 3 commissioners, provided that no two divisions shall be composed of the same commissioners. So right now, there's only 1 division composed by, headed by the chairman of the first division, the Executive Commissioner Galicia, as well as members thereof are Commissioner Fidel Esconde and myself. So all other appeals shall be resolved by the divisions. So no motion to inhibit the entire division or the commission in bank shall be entertained. So next slide, appeal from the judgment of the regional adjudicator. This is the process. When you are, the aggrieved party may file an appeal memorandum and payment of appeal fee by filing with the regional adjudication branch a verified appeal memorandum in 3 copies within 15 calendar days from the receipt of the assailed decision of the adjudicator. So within 5 calendar days from the receipt of the appeal memorandum, the RAB shall elevate the records of the case to the commission together with the summary of the proceedings. So I highlighted this, the appeal bond, because there are so many cases right now wherein parties, the aggrieved parties, file appeal without filing or payment of the appeal bond. So under our section 110 of our rules of procedure, in case of money judgment, an appeal bond in cash or manager's check posted with the commission or surety bond equivalent to the amount of the award and actual damages excluding interest and other damages and attorney's fees. Then after receipt of the appellant's memorandum and without waiting for a separate order from the commission, the appealee shall file a counter memorandum directly to the commission through the office of the executive clerk of the commission in 3 copies within a non-extendable period of 10 calendar days from the receipt of appellant's memorandum with proof of service to the appellant. Appeal from the decision of local and regional planning and zoning bodies. A party aggrieved by the decision of any local or regional planning and zoning body may appeal therefrom any legal ground to the commission in bank by filing with the office of executive clerk of the commission a verified appeal memorandum with a copy of the relevant zoning ordinance and or other supporting documents in 3 copies and payment of the appeal fee. The appeal shall be made within the period provided in the zoning ordinance of the city or municipality. In the absence thereof, of such ordinance, the appeal should be taken within 15 calendar days from the appellant's receipt of the decision of the local or regional planning and zoning body. So the commission may, in the evaluation of the appeal, order the reception of evidence, order the conduct of clarificatory hearings or ocular inspection, or issue subpoena when necessary. So next slide is the judgment of the commission. So when is the appeal deemed submitted for decision? So it is upon the filing by the appealee, or in the case of several appealees, the last appealee of the counter memorandum, or when the period to file the same expires. So upon the receipt of the last counter memorandum, the case is deemed submitted for the decision of the commission. So then the commission in bank or its division shall resolve the appeal within 120 calendar days from the date the appeal is deemed submitted for decision. So next slide, the notice of judgment, notice of the resolution of the appeal by of the judge parties and their counsel not represented by counsel. When a party is represented personally by counsel personally, or that contains a copy of the judgment ahead of such parties, the judgment shall be reckoned therefrom. So motion for reconsideration of judgment or order of the division. It should be, I mentioned this earlier, the decision of the adjudicator is not appealable by filing of a motion for reconsideration, but the decision of the division of the commission upon appeal, the party is now allowed to file a motion for reconsideration within the 15 calendar days within which to appeal the said decision. So it will be filed before the commission in bank, and only one motion, such motion for reconsideration shall be entertained, and the commission and bank shall resolve the motion for reconsideration within 30 calendar days from the date the motion is deemed submitted for resolution. So maybe the next question will be, after the MR, the resolution of the MR, where can the party file the appeal? So as mentioned here, the party can appeal within 15 calendar days to the Court of Appeals under Rule 43 of the Rules of Court. So next slide. The finality of judgment. After the lapse of the 15 calendar days from the date of receipt of the judgment or final order and no appeal has been perfected, that is considered the finality of judgment. So the date when the judgment or final order becomes executory shall be deemed the date of its entry. So the decision will later on be entered into the books of the commission and shall forthwith be entered by the executive clerk or his representative in the book of entries of the commission. So now we proceed with the execution of the final decision or judgment. Execution shall issue motu proprio or motion by any interested party upon a judgment or order that has become final and executory. So without need of a separate order from the regional adjudicator, the adverse party may file an opposition to the motion for execution within 5 calendar days from the receipt of the motion. So the regional adjudicator shall resolve the motion and issue the writ of execution within 15 calendar days from receipt of the opposition or lapse of the period to file the same. And no opposition has been filed. Unless the regional adjudicator determines the necessity of a hearing, in which case the regional adjudicator shall issue an order resolving the incident within 15 calendar days from the hearing. So as to the writ of execution, this is very important. All the writs of execution shall be issued by a regional adjudicator directed to the sheriff concerned. The commission may issue writs of execution to implement and enforce its judgment on direct contempt when committed against it or any of its members, directed to the executive clerk as ex officio sheriff or any deputy sheriff. The commission may also designate special sheriffs and take any measure under existing laws to ensure compliance with its decision, orders, and works. So again, this is next slide, please. And the resolution for the motion for execution. So I would like to remind parties in relation to this section. So again, writ of execution is not appealable. All incidents pertaining to the execution of the final and executory judgment shall be resolved by the regional adjudicator or the commission, as the case may be, and where necessary, a special order for execution of the judgment or order or award shall be issued. So my last slide in relation to the effectivity of our rules. It shall take effect 15 calendar days after their publication in the official gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation. The rules were published last March 6, 2021 in the Philippine Star and became effective last March 21 of 2021. So that will be all for my presentation, and later on I'll be open for questions during the open forum.
Since its inception in 2015, Bria Homes has always stood for the nationalistic objective of alleviating homelessness and improving the quality of life for the underserved Filipino. Through the years, Bria Homes has been continuously growing its vision through offering a wider variety of choices and expanding its footprint to cover more ground, reach new heights, and serve more Filipinos across the archipelago. With over 50 projects all over the country, the Bria Homes brand has been synonymous with the best value for money options, top-notch quality, progressive locations, ease of ownership, and a premier customer experience. Bria Homes has always gone above and beyond expectations, redefining the concept of a home builder and turning subdivisions into fully thriving communities. Township projects will always be Bria's differentiator amongst its competition, with customer-centric concepts designed with the needs of its home buyers in mind. Bria Homes has always stayed attuned to the times, adapting to the digital revolution, all in the name of convenience and safety to its home buyers. Sustainability has also been a paramount priority to our business as we continually move towards an environmentally sound Philippines, one Bria Homes project at a time. Bria Homes has continuously reimagined affordable housing. We will continue to build dignified dwellings, picturesque communities, and prosperous townships, formerly inaccessible to the everyday Filipino. We are, and we will always be, the beacon of best value affordable housing in the Philippines. We are Bria Homes, your home of choice.
Smart decisions. That's something everyone wants to make. Like when buying a new place. Do you go for location? Energy efficiency? A fresh breeze? Or having no brownouts? How about smart planning and engineering that give you all of these? Take a closer look at West Insula, where you get to live easier, live wiser. At West Insula, you get perks that make day-to-day living a greater comfort. Just think of these smart features. Full backup power. When brownouts happen in the rest of the city, keep the computer, air conditioner, and everything else you need up and running. West Insula provides full backup power in all rooms, in all units. Water saving system. When it comes to wise water management, West Insula is designed to collect, purify, and treat rainwater for use by homeowners, giving you practical savings. Smart vents. And how about staying cool even when the air conditioner is off? West Insula has well-concealed vents that promote optimal airflow through every room, even when the windows are closed. Maximum energy efficiency. West Insula is engineered for ultra-efficient energy consumption. Take advantage of the patented electrical loading system that delivers maximum power at minimum cost. What's more, every homeowner gets to monitor their power consumption right at their doorstep, so you pay only for your own bills. No shared costs, no hidden charges. Atrium. Unique to the design of West Insula is the atrium, a central shaft of wide open space at the core of the structure, offering the added advantages of free-flowing air, natural light, and a relaxing ambiance. Ready to take a look? West Insula, built by EGI and Maryleaf Realty, stands tall with 25 stories at the corner of West Avenue and EDSA Shopping District. A train station, medical clinics, and malls are also just a few minutes away, so you don't have to go far to get far. Intelligent innovations at prime locations. That's what smart engineering for practical living is all about. See one of Insula Condominium's masterpieces for yourself. Schedule a visit to West Insula today. Make the smart move.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Yap, for that presentation. Our third speaker has an extensive experience in organizing investment, roadshows, and briefings, business and economic missions, preparing strategic research papers, policy papers, investment education, and due diligence. He has a diploma in development management in the Development Academy of the Philippines and graduated Bachelor of Science in Legal Management in the Ateneo de Manila University. He is the well-rounded, resourceful, and dependable officer in charge and chief of the Research and Policy Division and concurrent senior investment specialist of the Board of Investments. Let us all give a warm and ray applause to Mr. Dino John B. Recto. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning to the officers of NREA and our participants, and to our fellow officers in government. Thank you very much for this opportunity to explain the SIPP. So I'll just share my screen and okay. So the topic that I was slated to discuss is the prospects of housing in the 2024 Strategic Investment Priorities Plan. So just to give an overview, we have a new law. We're not anymore working under the legal framework of Executive Order number 226. So we have the CREATE law that was effective in April 2020. It was just passed this year. So in that law, it's implementing rules and regulations. The definition of the SIPP is a plan prepared by the BOI in coordination with the Fiscal Incentives Review Board, the investment promotion agencies. So IPAs are like PEZA, Subic, Clark, that promote investments, and other government agencies in administering tax incentives and the private sector. Now, this SIPP has to be approved by the President, and it should contain the following: the priority projects or activities. So the activities can be business activities like BPM, call centers, manufacturing of specific products, or an activity. It can be included. The housing, a segment in housing can be included in the SIPP as an activity. It should also contain the scope and coverage of the location and industry tiers. We'll discuss that later. Recommendations for non-fiscal support. So the CREATE Act has a set of fiscal incentives in its law, but then the SIPP can also recommend non-fiscal support. Other information, analysis, data, guidelines, or criteria as the BOI may deem appropriate. This is Rule 1, Section 4, Paragraph DD of the Implementing Rules and Regulation of the CREATE Act. Here's the SIPP approval process. So at the beginning or later, we will show you the parameters or the measures that allows an activity to be included in the SIPP. So the PIPP SIPP TWG, that's the Philippine Investment Promotions Program, that is tasked to develop the SIPP. These are different IPAs: PEZA, BOI, Clark, Subic, APECO. Different IPAs are working together to make the SIPP, to formulate SIPP. So the first thing we done was to come up with measures to implement the conditions under Section 300 for each of the activities in the SIPP, quantitative and qualitative measures. That's the first step. So if we'll show you the requirements in a few slides later. So that's the first step. Once we know the measures, we will conduct the data analytics and expert group discussions. So we'll evaluate what is industries or sectors can pass these parameters using the measures that we've agreed upon. So that's step 2. Once we conducted the data analytics, we have objective proof, qualitative proof that this sector can be included in the SIPP because blank. This is the data that we've shown, or this is what the experts say. Due to our research and the discussions, that's step 2. From there, we go to step 3. The technical working group will list down what passed. So every sector, every business activity that passed the parameter, we'll make a list, short list for the activities to be included in the SIPP. That's step 3. Then that list will be consulted with the DOF, NEDA, and the Office of the President. That's step 4. Then step 5, we will conduct a public hearing. So here we will check the government agencies, other government agencies aside from the DOF, NEDA, and Office of the President. So we can consult the SHUD. We can consult other government agencies related to investments. And we will also need to, the public hearing is also intends to consult the private sector on the list and the methodologies that we've done to get their inputs and their comments. So that's the public hearing. After that, we've already heard the public, we've heard the other stakeholders with the public hearing, and then we'll consolidate the list based on that consultation. And then we present the new list that has been subjected to public hearing. We'll present it to the PIPP Steering Committee. The steering committee is the principals or the heads of the different IPAs, and then they will provide their inputs on the SIP list. So after the heads studies it, we go to the next step. The BOI will prepare the report to the SIPP Steering Committee under the IRR of the Act. So IRR of the Create Act provides that there are different agencies that comprises the SIPP Steering Committee that will also check and evaluate the list that was done by the technical working group. After that, the steering committee reviews the report and submit the recommendations to the BOI. And then the BOI will recommend the SIPP to the president for his or her approval. So after that, it's up to the president to approve the IPP, the SIPP. It should be signed by the president and published in the official gazette, either hard copy, email, or other media available. So right now we're analyzing the different sectors, and then we'll come up with a short list soon. So we check what should be in the SIPP. So based on the law and the implementing rules, it should contain priority projects, or we've discussed that already. Scope and coverage of location and industry tiers. So these will affect the length of the incentives that a company may enjoy once he is registered with the IPA. Terms and conditions on the grant of enhanced deductions. Qualifications for expansion of entirely new projects or activities to avail of incentives. Criteria and conditions for existing registered projects or activities prior to the effectivity of the Act to register and avail the incentives of the Act. So if a project was already registered before CREATE and it wants to avail the incentives under the Act, the SIPP will provide the criteria and the conditions. Next is the conditions and qualifications for export enterprises registered prior to the effectivity of the Act to reapply and avail of the SCIP after the expiration of the transitory period under Section 311C of the Act. Specific qualification and requirements or conditions for a particular sector or industry and other limitations set as determined by the BOI in coordination with the FIRB. And it should include that export of at least 70% of products and services is also included in the SIPP. That is Rule 4, Section 3 of the IRR. Now, in the definition, this was already explained that it also recommend the non-fiscal support. That's Rule 4, Section 1. And then the treatment of the startup period of availment. So the default provided by law is that the availment of incentives start or commences at the start of commercial operations, but there can be exceptions otherwise provided in the SIPP. That's IRR Rule 3, Section 4. We also have the SIPP should also contain the period in which existing RBEs may transfer to create, as well as the criteria and conditions. That's Rule 17, Section 1. So there is the inclusion of the SIPP, the provision under Rule 4, Section 4, that all sectors or industry that may be included in the Strategic Investment Priority Plan shall undergo an evaluation process to determine the suitability and the potential of the industry or the sector in promoting the long-term growth and sustainable development and the national interest. In no case shall the sector or industry be included in the SIPP unless it is supported by a formal evaluation, process, or report. So that's what the BOI, the other IPAs are doing right now. So we need to provide, we need to evaluate these sectors. What do they bring to the economy? What benefits do they bring to the society of the Philippines? And then we will check if they deserve incentives that they're enjoying. Okay, so that is for, actually, that's what we're preparing for 2021 SIP. And it's provided in law that will be also applicable when we develop the 2024 SIP. So this is the criteria for investment priority determination. So there are a lot of activities, there are a lot of businesses, and there are a lot of sectors. So how do we choose which which sector will be given incentives? So the law provides the following. So it should be considered when we are evaluating that the project or activity is covered by the Philippine Development Plan as published by the NEDA or other priority government programs. Then we should also consider the SIPP parameters and the industry tier parameters. So that I'll discuss later. Constraints preventing registered business enterprises from entering or upgrading the specified project or activity. So this, if there is if the sector or the registered business enterprises has trouble in participating in the market, so we can consider that we need these sectors need support from the government to grow and upgrade their industry. So we can also provide that as a support in the SIPP to make it a priority sector. Areas necessary for countrywide development were found to be deficient in infrastructure, public utilities, and other facilities such as irrigation, drainage, or other similar infrastructure. That is Rule 4, Section 4 of the CREATE Act IRR. Okay, so under Rule 4, Section 4, these are the SIPP parameters. So in order for a sector or a business activity to be included in the SIPP, it should meet any of the following parameters. So this is 10 parameters. Number 1 is the substantial amount of investments. Number 2, the sector provides considerable generation of employment, especially towards less developed areas. Number 3 is the considerable amount of net exports. I don't think that's applicable to housing though. Number 4, use of modern, advanced, or new technology. Number 5, processes or innovations that will lead towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. So it may include, but it's not limited to, the adoption of adequate environmental protection systems and sustainable strategies. So that's the first 5. The next is addressing missing links and other gaps in the supply or value chain, or otherwise moving up the value chain or product ladder. So for example, what we have in abundance, or we have a lot of assemblers of automobiles in the Philippines located in Laguna. But then some of the parts are still imported. So that's the missing link that we have, or gap that we want to fill in order for us to be more, to have more of the jobs and more of the value in the value chain. We like to attract or support more of the parts of the automobile, or sometimes we have the electronics. We have a lot of electronic exports, but the components, a big part of the components are still imported. So in order for us to attract more of these component makers, we say that we need to fill the gap. That's why we provide them with incentives. So this is why we put this number 6. Promotion of market competitiveness, enhancement of the capabilities of Filipino enterprises and professionals to produce and offer increasingly sophisticated products and services. Number 9, more of agriculture, contribution to the Philippines' food security and increased incomes in the agriculture and fisheries sector. And the last is services and activities that can promote regional and global operations in the country. So those are the SIPP parameters. The next is the industry tier. So the first step in the prioritization is that we have to check if the sector is included or not in the SIPP. So for example, we studied a segment of housing, economic and low-cost housing, can be employment. That is sector. That is number 2. That is SIPP parameter number 2. So we can say that it's included in the SIPP, and those that will engage in that activity can be given incentives. But how long? So there we've checked. We have to check if the housing sector is tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So for tier 1, the sector or the activity must have high potential for job creation, or sectors with market failures resulting in under-provision of basic goods and services, value creation through innovation, upgrading, moving up the value chain, essential support to sectors critical to industrial development, emerging owing to potential comparative advantage. So next is the tier 2. So it has to be activities that produce supplies, parts, components, intermediate services that are not locally produced but are critical to industrial development, and import substituting activities. Number 3 are the research and development with high significant value added, higher productivity, breakthroughs in science and health, and high-paying jobs. It can also be generation of new knowledge or intellectual properties registered and licensed in the Philippines. Commercialization of patents, industrial designs, copyrights, and utility models, or it can also be highly technical manufacturing. Finally, tier 3 can be also described as those sectors that are critical to structural transformation of the economy. So this is the matrix that we are working on, or that we're operating on. So, for example, you're a housing developer, and you're located in NCR, let's say condominium in Taguig. So when we made the new SIPP already, for example, housing is included, and then the segment is low cost. So, but then we've identified that housing for low cost is tier 1. So if you're located in NCR, you're not exporting. So this is not the table that we have to look at. We have to look at the domestic market activities because you're selling to the domestic market. So housing is tier 1. Your project is located in NCR. So you will have a total of 9 years of incentives. That is 4 years of income tax holidays and 5 years of enhanced deductions. But then if we go down the line, let's say we have arguments or we have support information that it's tier 2 or tier 3, the ITH will increase. So 5 years or 6 years. And then, but then the enhanced deductions will remain the same throughout. That's 5 years all throughout. Next is the, if you're located away from NCR, you increase your income tax holiday by 1 year as well. So if you're not in NCR, you're let's say contiguous or adjacent to NCR, let's say you built a housing project in Laguna or Cavite. So that is 10 years total already. So you have 5 years income tax holiday. All other areas that are further away from the metropolitan areas, further away from NCR, let's say Iloilo, that's 11 years of incentives. That's 6 years income tax holiday, 5 years of enhanced deductions. Okay, so yeah, you're not using 70%. So you're a domestic enterprise. Housing is a domestic enterprise. Income tax holidays, ITH. Special corporate income tax is SCIT, 5% of gross income earned. ED is enhanced deductions. We have an example for the enhanced deductions in the next slide. Okay, so this is the CREATE Act menu of incentives. So we've discussed income tax holiday for 4 years, 7 years. SCIT is for exporters, so I don't think it's applicable, but that's 5 years gross income earned, 5% on gross income earned. Enhanced deductions is at the right. So there's depreciation allowance of assets. So it's additional 10% for buildings and additional 20% for machineries and equipment. We also have additional deduction on the additional 50% deduction on labor expense, additional deduction on research and development, 100%, 100% additional deduction on training expense, 50% deduction on domestic input expense, 50% additional deduction on power expense, and deduction for reinvestment allowance to the manufacturing industry. The amount reinvestment is to a maximum of 50%. And the enhanced NOLCO, non-operating loss carryover. Okay, so that's the incentives that the new law is offering. So just to update you, the 2020 IPP is approved as the transitional SIPP. So all the listed activities are considered as tier 1. This is so that there's a level playing field because we haven't identified yet which are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It's still in the process. But then without prejudice to being upgraded if qualified once the final SIPP has been issued. That's the Fiscal Incentives Review Board meeting of April 14, 2021. Mandatory laws, I don't think this is applicable, but then just to let you know, some sectors or industries are mandated by special laws to be listed in the IPP or granted incentives. So if that's the case, it's included in the SIPP. That's Rule 4, Section 6. Validity, it should be submitted to the President for approval, and it's valid for 3 years from its issuance. That's Rule 4, Section 5. Amendments to the SIPP. So for example, we've already published an SIPP. There can be amendments where within the 3-year validity of the SIPP. So it's not yet scheduled for reformulation or a new SIPP is not scheduled to be made. So while the active SIPP is still there, it can still be amendment. So we can include additional areas, or we can alter the terms of the declaration of an investment area, or temporarily suspend projects or activities from being included in the SIPP. Then, subject to publication requirements, it has to be published, and the SIPP should follow the law based on the criteria for investment priority determination. So when we're amending, we have to consider that there's a recent development in the industry to justify why we have to amend the SIPP, or if we've received justifiable positions of the private sector or other related government agencies that it has to be amended. Okay, provided that any amendment or suspension of the SIPP shall not prejudice the availment of fiscal incentive already granted to RBEs. So that is not retroactive. If there's an amendment, the agreements before the amendment will be honored. Publication, the SIPP should be published in at least one newspaper of general circulation or the official gazette. That's Rule 4, Section 9. And that is, that is my presentation. Thank you very much. These are our website and our address and our email as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope we've shed light on the SIPP.
Okay, so thank you very much, Yusek Maynardo Sabili of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. Thank you very much, Attorney Sergio Emano Yap of the Human Settlements and Adjudication Commission. And thank you very much to our Mr. Dino John Recto of the Board of Investments. Now let's proceed to our open forum. So we have a lot of questions right now. So let me first introduce to you our moderators for today. He is currently the Legal Director, Corporate Secretary, Management Committee member of First Park Homes Incorporated, and Deputy Legal Head and Head of Litigation, Contracts and Documentation for Century Properties Group Incorporated. Currently, the 2021 SHEDA Board of Governors, First Vice President, Chairman, National Convention Committee, and Co-Chair of the Board of Investments Committee, Attorney Joy Z. Manaod. PJ?
So another moderator for today, Sir Jovi, was the 2018 National President of the Philippine Association of Real Estate Boards, or PAREB Incorporated, and the incumbent National President of the Philippine Association of Realty Consultants and Specialists. He holds 5 professional licenses as a lawyer, real estate broker. He is also a real estate appraiser, consultant, and environmental planner, and the top-notcher in the real estate appraiser and consultancy board exams. Let's all welcome Attorney Ray D. Cartojano.
Good morning, Attorney Joy, and good morning, Attorney Ray.
Good morning. Actually, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined here by Attorney Ray Cartojano. First of all, we would like to thank our amazing speakers this morning for their very insightful presentation. To all the participants and listeners here, please feel free to submit your questions to our panel through the chat box, and we will try our best to read them all to our speakers. So let's move on with our open forum.
Yes, good afternoon to you, no? Good morning pala, no?
Good morning,
Attorney Joy.
Good morning.
Sige, let's shoot na, no? With a limited time, probably we can ask some questions to our resource persons.
Yes. Okay, so my first question will be for our speaker from DSUD, Yusek Sabili. Sir, you mentioned about the joint memorandum circular with the various government agencies for the task force against real estate scammers. So if a complaint is filed with the DSUD, does it automatically commence an administrative complaint also with the Professional Regulatory Commission or the PBRES against the airing broker or sales agent?
Sorry, pakiulit tong pauli ang question ka, bubukas ko lang nung aking ano.
Okay, sir.
Sige.
Sir, if a complaint is filed with the DSUD, the task force against real estate scammers, does it automatically commence an administrative complaint also with the Professional Regulatory Commission or the
Napuputol po, nag-splatter ang inyong pong boses. Hindi po clear. Yun na putol doon sa PRC bago mag-PRC.
Does it, sir, pag nag-file po ng complaint sa DSUD, does it automatically commence an administrative complaint with the PRC against the airing broker?
Okay po yan. Since that the PRC is also a member of our task force, of course, it is automatically filed also in the PRC. When it comes to those cases wherein it is within the ambit or the power of the PRC to conduct an investigation, ano po yan? Magkakasabay po lahat ng nag-commence ang filing na gagawin po automatically ginagawa na po gagawin ng PRC yan as mandated by our agreement.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Ray?
Yeah, siguro Attorney Joy, maganda yung presentation ni Mayor Sabili kanina, no? I'm happy that we have an executive person running the operations of the DSHUD. Kasi yung reklamo kasi Mayor, no, before yung batas matagal na, medyo mahina yung implementation, execution. So kaya medyo happy ako, nakita ko diyan na isang executive na nilagay diyan, no, sa sa pwesto. Kasi Mayor, ang pinakamaraming violation ngayon nasa online, yung online yung mga call rooms. Ano po ba yung mga action ng ahensya ngayon with respect to regulation diyan sa online? Kasi ang estimate namin na Mayor sa yung mga call rooms, you called nga kanina, no? We're happy na in-upgrade nyo into scammers. Kalahati ng mga transactions nasa online. Ano pong mga action ng ahensya diyan, Mayor?
Actually, sa ngayon po ay hindi pa nag-umpisa yung ating ang status ngayon ng ating memorandum, yung ating joint memorandum circular. For signature pa po ito ng mga secretary. Although July pa ito medyo matagal po ang action ng bawat department. Hindi naman natin masisi kung hindi agad sila magpadala ng mga comment or suggestions. Kinulate po ng opisina namin and then hopefully mapirmahan na nila. At ito po nga katulad ng nangyayari ngayon, yung katulad sinasabi yung online. Sa ngayon po, pwede na po natin umpisahin yan kahit for signature pa yung Kailangan lang po natin ang mga impormasyon na may padala po nyo, ibigay nyo po sa opisina ko, ipadala nyo po kahit na hindi pa nag-uumpisa yung task force, ay gagawin po natin ang immediate action. And of course, we can file unnecessary charges, appropriate charges against this unscrupulous or illegal practitioners. Ibigay nyo po ang instruction, ang mga information sa amin. At gagawin po natin, filean po agad natin yan ng kaso. Magkakaroon lang po tayo ng case build-up. I know you are lawyers, kayong dalawa, alam natin kung anong procedure, kung paano natin mapin down at mapailan ito ng kaso. Kailangan po ng klamo namin ng information dahil na hindi pa po talaga nag-umpisa itong task force na ito. Pag bumalik sa opisina, saka natin umpisahan. Pero even, kahit po ngayon, anytime, at wala pa po yan, we can act on it. We can file appropriate charges against these people.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Ray, do you have further questions?
So
ang procedure lang po dito, at this point in time, siguro para mabilis, Example, it is in region 1, 2, or any other region, ano po, padala po nyo sa Office of Undersecretary for Regional Operation, ako po yun, at utusan ko po ang mga regional offices at isa-supervise ko din naman kung paano ma-prosecute at ma-file ng kaso itong mga ito.
Yes, may isang tanong dito, Yusek Sabilin, no? Pagbigyan na lang natin to. May isang tanong dito, yung mga reklamo po ba sa mga condominium, yung dito nakalagay dito yung tubig na medyo mataas yung presyo, sinisingil sila, may overpricing. Kasama po ba yan sa jurisdiction ng ahensya nyo? Tatanong po ito sa mga participants natin.
Opo, kasi lahat po ng mga condominium, siyempre may homeowners association. Usually ang nag-charge dyan ay ang HOA, yung homeowners association ng condominium. Ano po? Kasi sila yung nangongolekta ng dues at yan ang ibinabayad doon. So tinitingnan po namin yan, kung mayroong complaint yan ay sa amin pong opisina. Kung sa ang region, mayroon ng tanggapan, let's say Manila, Metro Manila, meron po tayong opisina ng National Capital Region. Doon po nila ipapile. Ano po? At kami po ang may jurisdiction na mag-imbestiga dyan. Ngayon, kung gusto rin nyo, dahil ako naman ay USEC for operation, you can also direct your complaint to my office so that I can supervise the investigation with our regions. Ano po? Para matutukan po natin ang mga bagay na ito. Sabi po lahat yan.
Okay, sister. We have a question here for HSAC, Commissioner Yap, from Mr. Francis Monsanto. Can a buyer file a complaint against a developer without the assistance of counsel? Sir. Is Commissioner Yap still there?
Okay. Yes. Even without a lawyer, as I mentioned earlier during my presentation, a person can file a case. We have kasi complaint form you can download in our website, and the party can just fill it up and file it with payment with the filing fee. Just like what I mentioned earlier, there's no lawyer needed, but more or less it's advisable because during the filing of the position paper and draft decision, it is deemed advisable to have a lawyer to do it. So, but bale, from the filing to the mediation proceedings, a party can be represented by a lawyer or without a lawyer. The most advice lang from our end is for the parties to have a lawyer during the filing of position paper as well as in drafting the decision. Kasi we have directed kasi both parties to file a draft decision eh. So together with the position paper. So yun kailangan ng lawyer.
Attorney Joy, can I ask a question kay Commissioner Yap?
Yes.
So Commissioner Yap, yung diba sa bagong you made a presentation about yung unsound business practices. Yes. No, I'm not really familiar kung that part was really within the jurisdiction of HLURB before. Kasama pa ba yon or bago lang na kanyan provision? Yung unsound business practices.
Going back sa old law, sa time pa ng NHA, kasama na yan sa jurisdiction. Tapos in several jurisprudence, na yan ng jurisdiction ng HLRB. So under the new law, the RA 11201, yun dinala na rin yan.
It's rather broad, Commissioner Yap,
yes,
no? Anything
yes.
na
it's really
medyo,
broad. Really broad. Yeah,
wala ba kayong kanyan parang implementing rules and regulations specifying what are these unsound business practices? So it's just parang obligation ng complainant to allege that these are unsound business practices?
Because of the broad nature of yung word na yan. So we've taken several cases already, but we consider the allegations of the complainant. So from that, the commission or the adjudicators will review or assess the allegations by the complainant.
Okay, next question ko, Commissioner, no? But yung sa mga professional practice kasi, yung mga developers pwedeng file ng kaso sa under sa HSAC, no? Sa commission for example, walang license to sell kasi yun yung common na violation ng mga developers. Now, can plaintiff also include yung yung brokers at saka salesperson who sold yung projects ng mga developers without license to sell?
Yung kasama na rin yan. Yung actually, if you yung kanina na sinabi ko, kasama talaga siya yung yung mga, kasi project owner, developer, kinonsider na rin natin yan nung mga in fact, if you the number 2 of the jurisdiction kanina, sinama na rin yung claims, other claims by yung mga buyers against project owner, developer, dealer, or broker, or salesman. So talagang sinama na yan. But syempre may defense din yun later on yung respondent. So anyway, mahirap kasi mahirap mag-explain kasi hindi pa natin alam yung facts. But normally in all instances, we still consider them as part of our jurisdiction.
Attorney Joy?
There are complaints. Will the HSAC also entertain complaints by citizens filed through email or phone call through the Presidential Complaint Center? Yung 8888.
Hindi siya. Kasi we have, what we normally do, kasi I just assumed office last February. So I instructed our public assistance division na pag merong ganyan, in fact, I've received so many referrals. I was the head or the supervising assistant secretary of the DOJ Action Center. Marami na rin na-forward, in fact, even from Malacanang. But ang instruction ko is there's still a conciliation proceeding mechanism of the DSUD. So until they will still practice that, we still recommend that they can go to DSUD for the conciliation. If probably they will settle the case, otherwise they have to file the formal complaint with us. So based on our rules, we really have to, the party should file a formal complaint.
There's a question dito, Attorney Joy, no, for Commissioner Yap. Can you clarify, Commissioner Yap, yung jurisdiction ng commission with respect to condominium corporations?
Okay, so sa condominium corporations, pag related sa condominium corporation, wala kaming jurisdiction nun. So, kasi there's a difference between a condominium corporation wherein the unit buyers are supposedly members of the corporation. Unlike those in the subdivisions wherein the homeowners are part of the homeowners association. So, dati kasi when I asked kasi our legal division what happened during the discussion of the bill for the RA 11201, ang nangyari pala, SEC opposed the inclusion of that jurisdiction pag it relates to the condominium corporation. But pag buyers siya, if a condominium buyer magpa-file against developer, yes, of course, it's under our jurisdiction. But within yung issues among members of the corporation, condominium corporation, wala kaming jurisdiction yan.
Attorney Joy?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have a question here for Mr. Dino Recto. Sir, for those projects registered under the 2020 IPP, can they also register with under the SIPP? And if so, will the incentives for that registered project have a new 4, 5, or 6-year ITH based on CREATE? Or will they only enjoy the remaining years starting from their 2020 IPP registration?
So the 2020 IPP was, the guidelines was approved in February 2021. So the housing requirements are there already. So for example, you registered under February, March, but then Create was only effective April. So we have to check if you registered under February or March, you are under the registrations prior to Create. So you have the old incentives. Okay, but then since we use the 2020 IPP as a transitional SIPP, so it'll function as an SIPP if you register after the effectivity. So April, May, June, July until August. If you register after the effectivity, April, you already automatically have the Create incentives. Okay, so that's two distinctions. If you registered before Create was effective and after. So let's say you have registered before Create. If you registered before Create, you have the EO226 or the old incentives.
Correct.
But then there will still be, but there will still be a we haven't spread out, or we haven't hammered down on the specifics on how existing registration can transition to the new incentives. That is still being done. So there will be requirements.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Follow up dun sa yung explanation ni Jan, no? You mentioned earlier sa presentation mo yung if the sector already enjoyed benefits, no? Dito sa amin, we're more interested dun sa housing sector. And we know for a fact that the housing sector already enjoys benefits under existing laws, no? Especially under UDHA. Anong epekto nun? Kasi under UDHA, housing sector already enjoy these special incentives. What will be the protocol or procedures na susundin?
In the BOI, we only identified mandatory laws that provides fiscal incentives that is comparable to the incentives of Create. So for example, Renewable Energy Act has the incentives or income tax holiday if they register with either DOE or with the BOI. So that's incentives po yun. So I'm not just sure for the housing sector, pero alam ko na-repeal po siya with the new law for the should as well, na if you provide the supply of socialized housing, may incentives po kayo. Hindi ko sure kung active pa yon or na-repeal siya ng Create. So if that is repealed, I have to review pa the Create kung may repealing siya ng iba. Kasi yung iba pong laws, hindi po na-repeal ng Create like the Renewable Energy Act. But for the other laws kasi, repealed na po yung incentives na yon. Every sector has to follow the SIPP na po.
Okay, clear?
Thank you, sir. We have a question here from the chat box. I guess this will be addressed to our DSUD speakers. The biggest issue with HOA are non-paying owners with dues, which put the HOA into financial destitute and leads to non-performing organization. So how can you, HOA, prevent this predicament?
We can direct
Hello?
to either of the presenters natin siguro, Attorney Joy.
Yes.
Okay, as far as the homeowners association po, meron kaming supervision dyan at regarding po yung kanilang activities or ginagawa, let's say yung payment of dues, usually po yung mga payment ng dues, yung mga obligation nila, nakalagay po yan sa bylaws niya. Nandyan po yung sa rules nila and yung bylaws. Kaya kapag kayo po ay may question at may complaint regarding diyan sa mga bagay na yan, you can file a complaint in our regions. Katulad po ng sinabi ng ni Commissioner Yap. Siyempre, kapag upon receipt of the complaint, lagi po yung pinag-aharap namin ang both parties. Kailangan po yung magkaharap, and then both parties should of course present the complaint on the other side, and titingnan po natin yan. At para malakita po natin ang violation, no? Yun po ang Kaya lahat po ng complaint tungkol sa homeowners association na hindi nila na ito na sa palagay ng mga homeowners, ay ang officers ay hindi nagko-comply at may violation, ay direkta po yun sa amin na nagagawa natin. Kami po ang tumitingin na may jurisdiction. Meron po kaming mechanism at sa ganung mga bagay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Attorney Ray, I think that's the only time we have for our open forum.
Yeah, sana mahaba-haba yung open forum, but I think the organizers very limited yung time natin, guys, no? So siguro next session tayo, but I think that was really a nice experience for us, no, sa mga presenters natin, yung mga guest speakers natin.
So due to the time constraints, if you were unable to read your questions, rest assured that we will submit them all to our speakers and we will get back to you with their response. So we wish to thank again our speakers for their time this morning.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Keep safe.
In life, we are always in search of something better. Better jobs, better lifestyle, better investments. Here at Forest Lake, we offer you an alternative, an extraordinary, and a better experience through My Forest Lake portal. Our online portal gives you access to viewing and purchasing of memorial lots safely and conveniently from your home. It provides a place where you can centralize the management of your memorial lot investments with easy access to customer information and services. Registering in My Forest Lake is easy. Just follow these 3 easy steps. Creating a new account is simple. Go to www.forestlakememorialparks.com. Click on Customers on the upper right corner of the site and you will be directed to the My Forest Lake customer portal. Step 1. Click the link and fill out the form or register using your Facebook account by simply clicking on Login with Facebook. Step 2. Input necessary details as needed. And click Next. Step 3. Verify your mobile phone or registered email. Congratulations! You have successfully registered your account. Enjoy a faster, easier, and more secure way of managing your Forest Lake investment at the palm of your hands. View and purchase lots within the safety and comfort of your home. Take advantage of online services exclusive to registered customers. No more long lines when paying your dues. You can now pay through our secure payment options and documented online transactions. You can even chat with our customer service representatives for any concerns. Convenient, right? For inquiries, email us at customerportal@forestlakeparks.com or contact our branch office. Sign up now and start enjoying a better online experience now with Forest Lake. Visit www.forestlakememorialparks.com or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Sign up today and start your investment journey with Forest Lake.
Okay, so thank you very much everyone. Medyo bitten tayo lahat ano, pero let's see if we can have a part 2. For the meantime, you can also watch the replay by searching for the NREA Philippines Facebook page. To present the NREA Certificates of Appreciation is a very special NREA member. He was a former Vice Chairman of NREA, former Governor of Bulacan, President of the League of Provinces for 3 terms, former Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform and the Department of Tourism. He is presently the National President of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines and Chairman of the Rotary District 3810 Council of Governors. Please welcome NREA's very own Governor Roberto Obet Pagdanganan. Good morning, Gov.
Good morning and thank you very much. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga MCs, Vice President of NREA, Vice President Internal Joey Tupas, and Sir Paul John Padaan, Section of the NREA Chapter. Magandang tanghali po sa inyo lahat. Ang aking karangalan ko po is my distinct honor and privilege to be requested by National President Bae Magtoto to present a certificate of appreciation to each of our honorable and distinguished guests and speakers. I'll be reading to you the certificate of appreciation, and it's obvious that we've been so appreciative of the presentation. This expertise is so evident. Inulang nga tayo ng panahon para sa question and answer, pero overtime na po tayo. The first certificate, this is the same for all the other. Incorporated, one-stop trade organization, certificate of appreciation. The certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Undersecretary, also former Mayor of the City, Medardo A. Sabili, in sincere appreciation of his invaluable service to the association, particularly as special guest and speaker during the ENRIA Business Forum online on the topic Prospects and Settlement of Conflicts in Housing on August 17, 2021, via Zoom and ENRIA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by the board chairman, Benigno T. Cabrieto Jr., Chair Emeritus and Chair of the Board of Advisors, Marisa Del Mar, the National President, Imelda May Magtoto, and the Secretary General, Architect Ronnie Blando. And so they present this on behalf of all of us to Undersecretary for Medardo Sabili. The same certificate, similarly awarded and signed certificate of appreciation is also presented to Honorable Sir Yoyok Emmanuel Yap II, Commissioner of the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission. A sincere appreciation of his invaluable services. Same po yun. Signed also by our chairman, the Chairman Emeritus, the National President, and the Secretary General. And finally, it's also my honor to present to the Honorable Dino John Recto, OIC Chief of the Research and Policy Division of Board of Investments, Mr. Dino John Recto, the same certificate also signed by our Chairman, Benito Cabrieto, National President, the Chairman Emeritus, and the Secretary General. So shall we give a big round of applause to our three distinguished guests of honor and speaker, former Mayor, Undersecretary Sabili, Commissioner Emilio Yap, Emmanuel Yap II, and Honorable Dino Recto. Palakpakan po natin sila. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagbabahagi ng inyong expertise at kaalaman sa pagkataguyod ng ating mga programa sa National Real Estate Association Incorporated. Mabuhay po kayo, pagpalain kayo, at patuloy na paglilingkod sa ating bansa, lalo sa ating larangan ng pagbabahay. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Governor Obet. Now, to award the Certificate of Appreciation for our moderator, may I call on the Principal Architect of RB Archiplas Design Studio, the Evaluator of CPD Council for Architecture of PRC, the Chapter President of UAP QC Electrical, the Director for Committee on Continuing Professional Development, the administrative faculty of Enderun Colleges and professional lecturer of the National University. May I call Architect Ronnie Biando.
Thank you, Mr. PJ. And similarly, we'd like to extend our appreciation to our moderators for sharing your time and expertise. So the National Real Estate Association Incorporated, your one-stop trade organization, gives the certificate of appreciation to Attorney Joy Z. Manaog in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as moderator during the ENRIA Business Forum online Prospects and Settlements of Conflicts in Housing on August 17, 2021 via Zoom and ENRIA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by the board chairman, Mr. Benigno Cabrieto Jr., the National President, Ms. Imelda Magtoto, the Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of the Board of Advisors, Ms. Marisa Del Mar, and yours truly, Architect Ronnie Biando. Please accept our virtual certificate, Attorney Joy Manaog. Same citation also goes to Attorney Ray D. Cartojano. Thank you, Attorney Ray. So the certificate is signed by the board chairman, the national president, the chair emerita, and yours truly. Thank you, Attorney Ray. Please accept our virtual certificate.
Thank you very much, Architect Ronnie. Now, as we move forward to close our program for today formally, for our closing remarks, the current chairman of the board is the CEO of the First Center Land Development Corporation. He has more than 30 years of experience in the real estate development business and was involved in projects like mass housing, condominiums, resorts, golf courses, reclamation projects, memorial parks, and many others. He has been actively involved in other real estate associations before becoming an active NREA. He is also a licensed real estate broker and appraiser. Let's call on Mr. Benigno T. Cabrieto Jr.
Thank you, Paul John. Good morning to everyone. I sincerely thank our guest speakers from DSUD, Yusek Sabili, and Commissioner Yap for joining us and enlightening us and the public of how real estate-related scams can be prevented and how one could seek redress and the possible restitution from the Human Settlements Adjudication Council and through other participating agencies. It is said that to be forewarned is to be forearmed against those who wish to take advantage of us. We are thankful that the DSUD has also taken more and more initiatives to home buyers protection on top of DSUD's developmental as well as regulatory initiatives. I'm also very happy that Mr. Dino Recto of BOI has joined us and presented the process of the BOI incentives program. On a macro level, I hope that BOI and the other government economic managers like NEDA and the DOF see the potential of housing as a major driver of economic growth. If you look at how Singapore becomes so rich economically, aside from good governance and ease of doing business, it was their public housing program that initially primed the economy to become what it is today. With a creative strategy and political will on our end, we can turn the 6.5 million housing backlog from a problem to an opportunity. I believe this is as big or even bigger than the Build program of the current administration. So in behalf of the National Real Estate Association, thank you to our guests, to our members and friends who participated, as well to our sponsors and advertisers for their support. Let us continue to be safe. Good day to everyone.
Thank you. Picture taking.
Requesting everyone to kindly turn on your cameras for our virtual photo opportunity and photo taking with everyone. You may also want to take your own pictures just in case you want to have a copy of your own. So Secretariat, feel free to take photos.
Gallery.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone.
Gallery, please.
Okay, so our photo opportunity is done. Picture taking is done. We are now allowing everyone to unmute your microphones and say hello and hi to everyone.
Hi.
PJ.
Hi. Hello.
Congratulations, Maria.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Hope there will be a part 2. Medyo bitin.
Congrats po.
Hi, Miss Rosie. Thank you so much. Pres Emelda. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, thank you, President Castro of Rebop.
Si Pres